Force yourself to be consistent. That's it. That's the secret people spend their entire lives trying to find. Not luck, not talent, not motivation, consistency. Every dream you've ever had, every change you've ever wanted to make, every goal you've ever whispered to yourself late at night, all of it depends on your ability to stay consistent long after the excitement fades. Napoleon Hill, one of the most influential thinkers on success, once said, "Persistence is to the character of man what carbon is to steel. Without persistence, steel would crumble. Without consistency, your dreams do too." So today we're going to dive deep into this. We'll explore what Napoleon Hill really meant by persistence and definite purpose. We'll talk about why your brain resists discipline, why people quit right before results appear, and how forcing yourself to stay consistent, even when it feels pointless, eventually makes everything fall perfectly into place. Let's begin. Most people think success comes from bursts of motivation. They wait for the right mood, the right time, the right feeling. But Hill saw it differently. He said success is never about emotion, it's about direction. He studied over 500 of the most successful people of his time. Men like Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, Andrew Carnegie. They all had different skills, different ideas, different paths. But one thing united them: they did not quit. When they failed, they studied the failure. And when they were tired, they worked anyway. When they had no evidence that what they were doing would pay off, they stayed consistent. Hill called this persistence backed by a definite purpose. He said, "The majority of people are ready to throw their aims and purposes overboard and give up at the first sign of opposition or misfortune. Few carry on despite all opposition until they attain their goal. That's the entire difference between mediocrity and greatness. The decision to carry on, especially when your results don't yet exist." So here's the first law of consistency. You don't act because you're confident. You become confident because you act repeatedly. Every repetition is a vote for the person you're becoming. Every small, consistent action tells your subconscious, "This is who I am now." And over time, reality starts to catch up. But why is consistency so hard? Napoleon Hill believed that our biggest enemy isn't the world outside, it's the world within. In Outwitting the Devil, he described how our thoughts can enslave us. He called it drifting. A drifter, he said, is someone who moves through life without direction, without daily discipline. They start projects but never finish. They talk about goals but never act. They live reacting to life instead of designing it. And the devil, metaphorically speaking, controls drifters. Not through fire and brimstone, but through distraction, fear, and inconsistency. Sound familiar? Every time you pick up your phone instead of working on your dream, that's drifting. Every time you say tomorrow instead of now, that's drifting. Hill warned, the devil's first weapon is habit. If you let bad habits repeat, you build a life that serves your comfort, not your purpose. But there's good news. Habits can be reversed. The same way you drift into weakness, you can drift into power. You do it by forcing yourself to show up. Not once, not sometimes. Every single day, even when it's boring, even when you don't see progress, even when no one else notices. Because those are the exact moments that shape your future self. The quiet, lonely repetitions that no one claps for. Napoleon Hill said, "When defeat comes, accept it as a signal that your plans are not sound, rebuild those plans, and set sail once more toward your coveted goal." He didn't say stop. He said rebuild and continue. That's the magic of consistency. It compounds. At first you see nothing. The results are invisible. You go to the gym and your body looks the same. You work on your craft and nobody cares. You post content and nobody watches. But consistency is a slow, invisible investment until it isn't. Think of bamboo. For years, it shows no visible growth. You water it, nurture it, protect it, and nothing happens. But beneath the surface, it's building roots strong enough to support 30 meters of growth. And then one day, it shoots up, seemingly overnight. That's how every success story unfolds. Years of invisible work, months of silence, days where you wonder if it's even worth it. Then suddenly, everything falls into place. Not because of luck, but because of consistency. Hill believed that persistence attracts opportunity. When you keep moving, you send a signal to life itself that you're serious. And that seriousness changes everything. Here's the hidden reason most people can't stay consistent. They don't have a clear why. Napoleon Hill called it the definite chief aim, the single dominating purpose of your life. He wrote, "Whatever the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve, provided he has a definite purpose and the persistence to back it up. You can't force yourself to be consistent if you don't know what you're consistent for. Purpose is fuel. Without it, your motivation runs out. With it, even pain feels meaningful. So ask yourself, what is your definite aim? What is the one result that would make everything else worth it? When you have that, consistency becomes less of a punishment and more of a path. You stop asking, how long will it take? And start saying, as long as it takes. That's the Napoleon Hill mindset. Unwavering, deliberate, patient. And once that mindset takes hold, everything starts aligning. Your energy, your focus, your habits. Consistency becomes natural, even addictive, because it's tied to purpose, not emotion. So how do you actually force consistency when your mind resists it? Hill believed discipline is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows through resistance. You don't start big, you start small, but you never miss twice. If you skip one day, fine. But the next day, you show up harder. You never let failure become a pattern. That's how discipline becomes identity. You also remove the decision-making. The greatest enemy of consistency is choice. Don't decide every morning whether to work out or write or study. Build it into your life so it's automatic. Consistency thrives on routine, not emotion. And finally, Hill reminds us to protect our environment. You can't be consistent surrounded by chaos. Build an environment that makes the right actions easy and the wrong ones hard. Because when your surroundings support your purpose, consistency stops being a struggle. It becomes the natural rhythm of your life. Force yourself to be consistent. That's it. That's the seed of everything you want to become. Napoleon Hill spent his entire life proving this truth. Success isn't reserved for the lucky or the gifted. It belongs to the disciplined, those who keep showing up when it's hard, when it's dull, when no one believes in them. When you force yourself to stay consistent, something powerful happens. The universe begins to rearrange itself around your effort. Doors open, people appear, circumstances shift. Not because of magic, but because consistency is the signal of seriousness, and life responds to seriousness. So stop waiting for the right moment. Start now. Be consistent, even when it hurts, and watch, slowly but surely, as everything falls into place.